All right, listen. I think we're going to start a little bit early here because the prof really likes to talk. I'm going to throw that one out there with a huge preface. Mr. Professor Pappy. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello. I feel like a fish out of water with these amazing guests you've had today. This has been like, wow, wowie, as you would say, wowie, wow.
The chat's already firing up for Daddy Prof. Yes, I guess that's kind of the name. Do you find it weird when people say, like, Daddy or Poppy or all that kind of stuff, or you used to just being the friggin' man?
The man. No, I'm not the man. I still consider myself like a kid in an adult body, quite a large, hairy adult body. No, I don't mind being called Pappy. I've been called Pappy since my days at YTV. For Canadians, you know YTV. For Americans, it's kind of like Nickelodeon, the kids channel in Canada. So I worked a lot of years there, but I also worked a lot of different places. But I'll let you ask me if you want to know more about that crap or not.
So, Prof, just because we're a few minutes early here, I kind of want to just preface, and I'm gonna retweet that you're on right now and all that kind of jazz. Can you give us kind of like a little quick rundown on what you are going to talk about today, and then if you're able to go into kind of who you are, what you've done, and why you're here?
So I guess I'll be talking about my time in the TV business. I didn't just work NBA stuff, but for a while there, I was producing an NBA show called NBA Dunk Street, which was on YTV, which was in tandem with the NBA. And then there's some other stuff we're talking about collectors a lot, and I have an opinion on collectors. I want to talk a bit about collectors and what I've learned over my time doing documentary series about guitars, about cars, and various other things, and what I've learned talking to these expert collectors in their various mediums.
I guess before we kind of get into your stories, when I was like, hey, I'm getting into this NFT thing that's like Top Shot. I don't know if you remember the call when I was like, hey, I think I'm a millionaire. And you were like, huh?
Right. We've known each other for a few years. And then through work, when you started working at the college, your job, as most people know now, was as a recruiter, as somebody who would talk to people like me. I was coordinator of my program, and we'd go on these online chats and to the public, and you'd ask me questions about the program, and I would divulge that information. And I remember it was like the last one we did, or no, 2 ago, I guess, back in early February. And we had like 10 minutes to prep for it. And in that 10 minutes, I think 9 minutes was spent talking about, dude, I'm getting in this thing, man. I gotta tell you, this is like, it's nuts. It's like, wow, exploding. It's going to be spicy. It's crazy. And I was like, okay, the energy that you had for it, I was like, I thought I was the energetic one. Who the fuck is this guy out energizing me? So I was, sorry for the language, but I'm not in class.
It's all good.
I listened in, and the next day I bought a few moments, which 10x'd almost like a week later. And I was sold, and wife was sold, and we started getting into it. And she's got an account, I got an account.
I mean, for you started looking into like Bitcoin and some other stuff. So it was, I think, intriguing that both of those kind of lined up and you were getting like introduced to, hey, all this stuff is moving back and forth all the time and that whatnot. But you yourself, you were comfortable with doing somewhat of like a long-term investment for this.
My wife and I, Lisa and I, are talking about retirement. And prior to hearing about this, we were, where are we going to go? What are we going to do? So I'm thinking, okay, how do I parlay what I do now into something remotely? And I can sell some of the courses I teach, perhaps online,
or sell the Top Shots now. There we go.
And that way, and thank you for the segue, because Mr. Yappity Yap yaps too much. But yes, indeed, I can definitely parlay this Top Shot stuff. So when I say Team Hodl or Diamond Hands or whatever, with my brother, Chili brother there, who's also into the chilling out. It's because I am thinking long term. I'm not looking for the quick buck. I'm looking for what can sustain me, or what can I parlay into something in 4 or 5 years from now. So Top Shot,
hey,
can you make me some money in 5 years? I think so. My crypto account right now is not much, but every day I'm going to Lisa, hey, check it out. I bought some on the dip, and look how much we made. Da 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 da. slowly.
But with that said, Prof, let's get into some of these NBA stories and all that kind of good stuff. I don't even feel like I should direct you because you have the stories, you have the knowledge, you know all that stuff. I want to let you tell the stories however you see fit. You know everybody in the chat. Feel free, pretend that you're the streamer right now, and I'm the one kind of just hanging out that you can see visually, and I'll jump in when needed.
So I got into TV, and I worked initially. I worked on a small kids sports show called Pumped many years ago. Back in, I'm going to say dates. I don't care. I used to laugh about it and like, oh my God, I'm so old. 1992. I worked on a show called Pumped. It led to me working at YTV, where I worked on a comic book show called The Anti-Gravity Room, which lasted for about 5 years. That was a great fun experience. It was basically, we got carte blanche to do whatever we wanted. In fact, most of my career was do what you want, and as long as it's within the realm of decency, and we did. And it led to me eventually being a producer, the producer of a show called NBA Dunk Street, which the NBA had. God, I forget the name of the American version. It was basically Ahmad Rashad's kid NBA show, and then we had the Canadian version, NBA Dunk Street, with a couple of hosts, Aaron and Heather. So that was my first experience with NBA stuff. And the end of that year, the end of that season, in July of '99, I don't know if they still do it, but they had 3-on-3 street tournaments, street ball. And our show decided to travel around Canada and sort of do our shows off season from this NBA 3-on-3 thing. And they had one in Winnipeg they sent us out to. And it so happened that they were sending Steve Nash to go to Winnipeg. Nike was sending him because he was sponsored by Nike. And we get to the airport in Toronto to go to Winnipeg, and Heather and Aaron like, oh my God, there's Steve Nash over there. I'm like, yeah, big deal. Who cares? I said, you guys go ahead. I don't really care. He was at the time, really almost like a nobody back in '99. And so they went and introduced themselves, and they called me over. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. And he was nice. And I was like, whatever, another NBA player. Got on the plane, got to Winnipeg. We get our luggage, and Steve comes out, and he's like, hey, how you guys getting to the hotel? Can I get a ride with you? I'm like, what? So he comes in our van that we rented, and he's like, we couldn't figure out how to start it. It had some fancy whatever going on. So he helped us start the van, and we get to the hotel. And I said, okay, in about half an hour, we'll just have a quick meeting downstairs just to go over what we're going to shoot tomorrow, and then you can do what you want. He's like, yeah, fine. So we had a meeting in the bar downstairs and to talk about, okay, well, here's the plan of attack for tomorrow when we go to the venue and so on, and what segments we're going to do with you and whatever. And he was so into it, and he was cool, and he was like, I'm down. He had some ideas. I'm like, okay, cool. See you later. He goes, well, what are you going to do now? You want to go get some pops, some beers? I'm like, sure. Yeah. What the fuck? Yeah. Okay, fine. And then that night went out, and it was no longer Steve Nash, the NBA player, and Paul, the producer. It was Pappy and Nashy, and just getting our drink on. It was off season, so he had no problems with that. And I tell you, man, the boy can drink. We drank and danced and drank and laughed and danced and had so much fun. And then the next day, hungover as hell, we did the show, had a good laugh, and then stayed in touch. And subsequently, he came to Toronto. I went to Victoria. I got to meet his family. I got to see the room he grew up in and the first trophy he ever won. And the first trophy Steve Nash ever won, by the way, was about that big. Sorry, I'm going on way too long. Stop me. Ask me something else.
This is great. I don't know if you're seeing in the chat in here. This is really, really good. We're all good. Guys, if you have any questions for Prof, again, Paul, I want to give you the full reign on this stuff. Whatever you got next that you want to spill the beans on, whether it be that finals, whether it be some trips that you've done and some other stuff, whatever you got, or if you just want to talk with the chat for a minute, feel free to take your time.
There's a lot of things stories I could tell about me and Steve where there's no proof of it. The time that we both, I was in Victoria. I'm going to jump ahead and tell a story, I guess, here. We all went and celebrated at this pub in Victoria. And Steve and I would play this game. It's off season, of course. We'd play this game where you could only drink with your opposite hand. So if you typically hold your pint in your right hand, we're going to agree that you now have to drink for the rest of the day with your left hand. Nothing major. But if you get caught, drink. So it was just me and him. And every so often I'd be talking to somebody and Steve would stand up and yell, Pappy, drink. I'm like, shit. And you got to down the pint. And it got to the point where I have very little memory of how the rest of the night went. But what I do remember is going to some party at somebody's house, that it was a beautiful house. And that's the next thing I remember. I'm waking up and I'm in some room on a futon, and like, where the hell am I? And I don't even know where the house is that we were at started off with. And I was staying obviously somewhere else, but that night I crashed there. Steve left. Somebody took him, and they said, "Oh, let him sleep here." So I'm listening. I don't know where I am. I don't know where the bathroom is. I know nothing. I get up and I'm looking all around. I meet this couple who I don't remember. I'm so sorry. Who are you? Where am I? And like, where's Steve? And they just started laughing. They go, "Oh, it's cool. It's cool." And they're friends of Steve's. And anyways, long story short, everything was okay. But this was the story of me and Steve. Is every time we get together, off season. I got to stress off season. It was time for pints.
On this, no, I'm just curious, just to add a little bit of legitimacy to this, do you happen to have a photo of you with Steve Nash? Just a photo.
The only one.
The only one.
Okay, wait, hold on. Can I share anything here?
Yeah, you can. So if you go to the bottom of the video screen, there's like just the outline of a camera, the TV monitor.
Okay. Oh, hold on. No, that's sharing the Discord. That would be just sharing what we're already seeing. You know what? I'm such a noob when it comes to Discord.
This guy teaches TV and can't figure out how to screenshot something, guys.
Okay,
Listen, when do you guys do this with the NBA Top Shots? You're bringing out your phone, you're showing the garbage. Listen, we're in 2021, baby.
All I can see now is Sean, Risk Red. He's gonna be editing this, and this is the part where it zooms in on you and then zooms in on me, and it gets all shaky and red. No, because you're so angry at me, and I'm so angry at you for being angry at me because I don't teach technical stuff. I teach producing and directing and storytelling. Okay.
Prof, out of curiosity, because you're kind of like new into this, or relatively newish into the crypto space, and I think you've been watching for the majority of the day. What's your take on some of the guests we've had? What are some stuff that you thought was interesting? Do you have any kind of like takeaways from what you've seen?
You know, these things, Drew said it a few weeks ago, this isn't going anywhere. We may be in a dip, but look at the history of anything that has successfully made people money, whether it's Apple, IBM, going that far back. Well, you look at year or 2 years, look how many times stuff has gone up, and everybody's like, woo, and then it's tanked. And everybody's like, screw this, I'm out of here. And there's a few smart ones who go, you know what? I have faith in this. And it's not just blind faith. There's some educated faith and thinking about holding on, because we know and we can predict that this is going to eventually go back up. When I hear them say these positive things about holding on and long term, I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm in. So that's what I've loved hearing the most. It's one of those things where I can listen to your stream and work at the same time, find out what's going on, make some moves based on the stuff I'm hearing. I'm not going to say financial advice, but I do listen, and I have taken some advice, and I've benefited from it.
Prof, you killed it. Guys, I threw his Twitter down in the chat. Follow him. We'll have him on again. Paul, are you down to come back sometime? Because this has been fun.
If you're willing to have me, and there's a reason to have me, sure. I'm a producer. I would not have me. But if you're going to have me, fine.
Hey, let's go, baby. All right. Guys, shout out to Prof. Back in the W's again. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon, Paul.
All right. Thanks, man.
All right. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad in the slightest.